co-creating at its best, yes?
Yes.
You bring your physical self, very beautiful beings that you are, but you are more than these physical beings that you see in these bodies. You are beginning to know that, aren't you?
Yes.
You are non-physical energy in physical bodies, but you are more than the physical bodies. You are vibration first and foremost, but sometimes you let your physicality confuse you about the true nature of your being. So in this world where you have a body, in this time-space reality where you can measure the movement of your body in terms of space and in terms of linear time, sometimes you get so involved in the physical nature that is you that you forget that you are eternal. You forget about who you were before you came into this body and who you still are from the non-physical perspective. And even though everything that you perceive is because of your ability to translate vibration into meaningful physical stuff, the physical nature of your being distracts you from the true nature of your being. And we want to help you to reactivate consciously that true nature of your being, because when you do that, life really begins to take on a whole new look to you. You begin to feel adoration for your love, for your placement in time. You begin to extract more that is pleasant and meaningful from your now experience. You begin to understand your interrelationships with other beings who are here sharing this leading edge age with you. The most significant thing that we want you to leave this gathering knowing in a more conscious way is that life is supposed to be good for you. Everything in the universe is set up for the enhancement of your physical life experience. You're not here as some substandard aspect of Source or God, trying through your hard work to achieve a better state of worthiness. You were worthy before you made the decision to come here. You were worthy when you got here, and you're still worthy no matter what has transpired since. You are source energy in a physical body on the leading edge of thought, just as you planned. In what we see from our non-physical perch as the perfect combination of intentions and situations which foster within you something so meaningful that humans have not even yet found a way to approach it, and that is your eternal longevity. In other words, the contrast that surrounds you causes you, from your personal selfish perspective, to come to constant new conclusions of your personal preferences. Constant new personal preference conclusions. Now, those of you who've trained yourself into unworthiness, that's meaningless to you. You don't get the power and importance of your placement here. But those of you who are beginning to tap back into your sense of value are beginning to understand, maybe even fully understanding, that you are the leading edge of thought. You are the leading edge experiencers, having leading edge experiences and conjuring leading edge desires, which the universe is accommodating. In fact, it is so accommodating that we could say to you unequivocally that when you ask at any level of your being, it is answered, it is given every single time and right now. And the best way that we can think of to explain that to you is that you, the non-physical essence, projected yourself here into this body, and from this platform of your now reality, you are having experiences which are causing you to launch new rockets of desire. When you don't have enough money, you want more money. When you're sick, you want to be well. When you're confused, you want clarity. When something isn't going the way you would like it to go from your standpoint, you prefer it to go another way. And whether you have a conversation with anyone with your words about it, you have emitted a vibrational signal that represents the conclusion that you have valuably come to. And your conclusion, your selfish conclusion, the selfish nature of you which we are applauding constantly, your selfish conclusion is springing forth, and here's the part we think you've forgotten. Source immediately becomes one with the vibrational nature of that conclusion. In other words, you send a rocket out that prepaves you in terms of your physicalness, but it does not prepave in terms of the non-physical, because non-physical is so instantaneously up to speed with the new preference that you gave birth to. Now, isn't that a wonderful thing? You may not know that, but it is a wonderful thing. And the reason it is so wonderful is because you have just, through your working in your physical environment and through your sifting through the contrast of your now moment, you have just taken all that is to a place that it has not been before and would not be before had it not been for your unique deciphering of the data. You are leading edge creators, and all that is eternally appreciative of your part in all of this. Thank you for your part in all of this. So you launch this preference forward. Now, you don't really understand the importance of that. We do, because when your contrasting situation causes a preference to be born, might be on a cellular level, it might be on a fully conscious human aspect level. When that desire is born, call it a preference, call it a desire, call it a wanting, call it anything you want, it is a conclusion that you have come to based upon what you're living. And here's what we want you to hear. It is valid. It is so valid that source, all that is, rushes toward the being of it. Now, you have navigational systems in your vehicles. Jerry and Esther have several different ones in different vehicles now, and they all operate on the premise that the system, because of satellites in the sky and dishes on the roof, knows where they are right now. So they program in their desired destination, and then the system calculates the route. And the only two things that matter to this guidance system: where are you in relationship to where you want to be? That's it. That's the only thing that matters in relationship to any guidance system. So then Magellan begins to speak verbally and give visually a description of how to get from where they are to where they want to be. And because it only matters where they are in relationship to where they want to be, Magellan never says, "Where were you yesterday?" Magellan never questions, "Why were you there so long?" Magellan never says to them, "I gave you a route last week, you didn't follow it, I'm not giving you another one." Magellan has a simple purpose. Where are you in relationship to where you want to be? And you have a guidance system within you that gives you that same constant, in the moment, full body feedback. It comes to you in the form of emotions. So all of these guidance systems that we have been talking about here all operate from this premise of 2 points of vibrational relativity. In other words, if there were not a new desire, if the non-physical part of you, by virtue of what you've been banging around in, had not become something more, there would be not 2 points of vibrational relativity. There would only be 1 point of vibrational relativity, and that would be where you are right here and now. So if the non-physical aspect of you have not already leaped ahead in concert with your desire, wherever you are standing would be the only vibration that you would be offering, and you would feel no emotional guidance. If there is not a wanting that you're not up to speed with, then there's no feedback helping you to close the gap. In other words, if someone you don't know called you on the telephone and said, "Hello, you don't know me. I'm just calling to tell you I will never call you again," you would say, "Alrighty then. It's been nice visiting with you. Goodbye forever." If you chat too long, you'll form a relationship. But what we are wanting you to understand is that if you do not have a desire, then wherever you are doesn't have anything to play off of, and you're not getting emotional feedback, emotional guidance feedback. But if you've been living something If you've been going to your mailbox and finding bills and you are not seeing any improvement in your financial state, and you're spending more money on things you need and want than you are taking in comfortably, then you are sending rockets of desire, and source is becoming one with them. And we want to say to you, whether it's the subject of your physical body or relationships or dollars or your work, whether it's any relationship about anything, your desires are already become in terms of vibration, just like this time-space reality that you are living in was well thought upon before you came forth as inhabitants of it. In other words, there is a launching vibrationally first. More attention to it by thought causes a culmination until there is form, thought form, and more attention to it until there is manifestation. It's just the way this universe works. So we like to say to you that every time you live anything, you are launching preferences, desires, into what we lovingly refer to as your vibrational escrow. They're being held for you. No one else can swoop into your escrow account and take your stuff away. There is no shortage of any kind. That escrow account is bigger than man's mind can even imagine. So, this gathering is about helping you to find ways to get up to speed with what's in your escrow account, to get up to speed with what you've been asking for, and to consciously recognize that you can tell by the way you feel whether you're closing the gap right now with this thought, right now in this powerful moment where all of your power is, whether you're closing the gap or whether you are widening the gap, because in every moment your thought, word, and deed is doing one or the other, because you're not standing still ever. So you went to the mailbox, and again you acknowledged that there are more bills than money, and you felt worry. And when you felt that worry, that was your guidance pointing out that the thought that you're thinking right now in relationship to the desire that you hold about money is on the not allowing part of the equation. In other words, when you feel good, you're allowing the closing of the gap. When you feel bad, you are resisting the closing of the gap. When you feel good, you are allowing the fullness of who you are. You are allowing the manifestation of all of the things that you want that are in vibrational escrow. When you feel bad, you are allowing the manifestation of all of the things that are in vibrational escrow that you don't want. Oh, did we mention that? Vibrational escrow is full of things wanted and unwanted because it's full of the thoughts that you have been thinking. Source energy, because source energy is in concert with your well-being only. There is only a stream of well-being that flows, you know. You don't walk into a room and look for a dark switch. There's not a switch on the wall that when you flip it, causes an inky, misty darkness to settle in and snuff out the light. You don't open your closet door and worry that the darkness will make your room dark. It doesn't happen that way. You have resistors on your lights, and you have resistors on your love, and you have resistors on your well-being, and you have resistors on your finances. In other words, you can twist your own knob and pinch yourself off from the well-being that is natural to you, but no one else can twist your knob. No one else can diminish your well-being. Oh, they can influence it. They can feel a diminishment of their well-being, and they can practice that in thought, word, and deed so prevalently around you that you begin to mimic them, so that you learn to squelch your well-being in the way that others that you have known well do. But no one but you is responsible for this vibrational relationship. And so we want to say to you, and we say this in all seriousness and with all of the love that we are, and with a little bit of fun just to help you over the hump of it, we are all going to eternally live life in the crack between where we stand and what we have become. And your crack in your physical format is the distance, if you want to call it that, the time, if you want to call it that, the separation, if you want to call it that, the difference, if you want to call it that.